The rise and fall of a Forex millionaire.
Imagine building $1 million empire from scratch, watching your fortune grow with every calculated risk, every sleepless night, and every strategic move. Now, imagine losing it all in a matter of hours. This is the story of Richard, a man who rose from an ordinary life to the heights of Forex success, only to come crashing down, leaving nothing but shattered dreams and empty bank accounts. He was the rising star of his industry, a self-made millionaire who seemed untouchable, but beneath his success was a ticking time bomb, and when it went off, the fallout was devastating. What was it that turned Richard from a careful, disciplined trader into someone who risked everything on a single move? Was it overconfidence, greed, or something far more dangerous lurking in the world of Forex? Let's find out. The room was buzzing with the sound of dozens of screens blinking with charts, numbers, and alerts. Amidst the chaos sat Richard, the man who, just a few years ago, was nothing more than an intern running coffee for traders at a high-powered financial firm in London. Richard was in his late 20s, and Forex had come into his life almost by accident. He was so passionate about it that he climbed the ranks faster than anyone around him. To Richard, Forex wasn't just a job, it was a game, a science, and an art, all rolled into one. Back then, Forex was everything he dreamed of and more. The thrill of risking money, of knowing that a single trade could either make or break him, had an addictive pull he couldn't resist. But Richard had a dream, a vision of not just making a decent living, but of making it big, really big. He'd read about the Forex millionaires who started with nothing and, in just a few years, amassed fortunes. To him, this wasn't just a fantasy, it was a goal. Richard started small, building his portfolio with caution, leveraging his trades carefully, and applying strategies he had learned from years of watching others. He was disciplined, setting stop losses, limiting his exposure, and never letting himself be swayed by emotions. This approach worked well. Within the first 2 years, he had already amassed a portfolio worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. People began to notice. His friends, family, even senior colleagues marveled at his success, but what they didn't see was the obsessive drive Richard had behind closed doors. His life revolved around charts, analytics, and predictions. He'd sacrificed friendships, missed family events, and even let his health slip just to make sure he was always one step ahead. By the third year, Richard was nearing the $1 million mark. His confidence was sky high, and he was convinced that nothing could stop him now. He started upping the stakes, trading larger amounts and taking on riskier positions. Each successful trade fed his ambition, making him believe that he could do no wrong. Then came the turning point. It was late one night, and Richard was deep into his analysis when he stumbled upon a rumor in one of the online trading forums. The talk was about a major economic announcement from the European Central Bank. Speculation was high, with traders all over the world predicting a big movement in the euro. Richard saw an opportunity, a massive one. He'd seen this kind of setup before, where a single announcement could send the market spiraling in one direction. The problem was that this time, Richard wasn't content with making a modest gain. He was hungry for something bigger. He wanted the trade that would cement his place among the legends of Forex, so he decided to go all in, leveraging almost every dollar he had in his portfolio. Friends warned him, colleagues advised caution, but Richard was blinded by the thrill of what he saw as a sure thing. The next day, the announcement came. To Richard's horror, it wasn't what he'd expected. The market didn't spike as he predicted. In fact, it moved in the opposite direction. He watched, paralyzed, as his position plummeted. He thought about pulling out, cutting his losses, but he kept hoping for a reversal. The reversal never came. In a matter of hours, Richard had lost over half of his portfolio. That one mistake, that single moment of overconfidence, marked the beginning of Richard's downfall. Desperation set in. He tried to recoup his losses by taking on even riskier trades, a strategy that quickly spiraled out of control. The more he lost, the more he gambled. Richard was no longer trading with logic or skill. He was trading with pure emotion, driven by the need to get back what he had lost. But Forex is ruthless to emotional players. Within a few weeks, the $1 million portfolio he had worked years to build had dwindled to a mere fraction of its original size. Finally, Richard hit rock bottom. The man who had once been seen as a rising star in the Forex world was now a shadow of himself, drained both financially and emotionally. In the end, Richard had to walk away, not just from his portfolio but from Forex entirely. The experience left him with a deep respect for the market and the brutal lessons it had taught him about greed, discipline, and the dangers of overconfidence. But Richard's story doesn't end there. Years later, he returned to Forex not to trade, but to teach. Today, he mentors young traders, sharing his story as a cautionary tale. His rise and fall serve as a reminder that in Forex, fortunes can be made, but they can just as easily be lost. Richard's story is a powerful warning about the dangers of overconfidence, greed, and losing sight of discipline in trading. Richard's rise and fall illustrate that success in Forex and in any high-stakes environment isn't just about making big wins. It's about managing risk, staying grounded, and respecting the market's unpredictability. Some key takeaways from his story are: 1. Stay disciplined, no matter your success. Richard's initial success led him to believe he was invincible, causing him to abandon the careful strategies that had helped him grow his portfolio in the first place. 2. Respect the market. The Forex market can be volatile and unforgiving. Richard's story shows that even when things seem certain, the market can move in unexpected ways, and ignoring this reality can lead to devastating losses. 3. Avoid all-in baits. Richard's downfall began when he risked everything on a single trade. In Forex, diversification and position sizing are essential, as putting too much capital in one place increases the risk of total loss. 4. Control emotions. Greed and overconfidence clouded Richard's judgment. Successful trading requires an objective approach, even when the stakes are high. It's all about managing the risks and knowing when to pull back. It's a lesson on humility, discipline, and the importance of learning from mistakes before they become catastrophes. As Richard says to his students today, the market has no mercy, so if you want to survive, you must learn respect.